another program. So let's assume if this program generates an address, and let's assume somebody has written in a C program and he has generated an exe and he has done his pointers. Now I will explain this with an example. Let's assume if I define a variable int array 1000, I have defined 1000 elements of string, and now I say print, I am printing array 100000. How many elements I have defined? 1000. Which element I am accessing? It is actually access the bound of it. So actually, if I am doing these kind of operations, so it may create an exceptions. This may create an exception, and this is the job. This is the job of the operating system. That whenever operating system allocates a program, so it allocates an address space to each and every program, and it also take care that one program should not access the address space of the other program. Now there is a $1 million question now. There is a $1 million question now. So actually, now why does it happen? When you copy from the Word and paste in Excel, actually you are accessing the address space after. How does it happen? जी
वो क्लिप बोर्ड होता है, क्या होता है उसमें जाके पहले कॉपी होता है. अब द क्वेश्चन इज सर $1 million कौन देगा? मैं दूंगा सर, या आप देंगे?
पिछली क्लास में आपको मैंने ये बता दिया था, आपको याद होगा.
नहीं सर, वो मैसेज आ जाता है जब आप कॉपी करते हैं ना सर, मैसेज आ जाता है.
Copy it to clipboard. Actually, what's now if you're, let's assume if yeah, it is your Word program and this is your Excel program, and now there is some space for operating system. Operating system has some space also allocated for clipboard. So when you copy some data from the Word, let's assume you say that there is some space. Actually, it will be located in memory. So it is copied from here to clipboard. When you see copy, so all the contents is read from the address space of program P1 and written into the clipboard address space. And when you say here, you say paste, the same thing will be pasted. Then in this case, when you say paste, what will happen? It will be copied from the clipboard and pasted. And these are all the API.
Isn't it inefficient way?
It's in it, but then if you allowed this thing, there will be a great chaos. Because actually, how do you communicate data between different programs? If you want to communicate this without violating the address space, and you don't know who have written the Word program, you don't know who has written the Excel program. Now I am giving an example of those programs that are very established programs.
Here is since the example of Word and Excel is discussed here already. When we copy and the program says it's copied to the clipboard, actually that is not copied. Only the address or pointer for that data is copied. और जब पेस्ट करते हैं तो वो डायरेक्टली वहाँ से रीड करके पेस्ट कर रहा हो.
Actually, if you look at this thing, this clipboard will also have some base address and also the contents of the data. When you copy that, so actually it is not only, it will be some loop. First it will fetch the first element, second element, third element, fourth element. So there will be some code. So actually all the data that is lying here, it will be pasted there. अच्छा देखिए, my processor is too fast. It is running in gigahertz, and actually it is doing in sequential, but everything will be so fast it is not even visible to you. This is how operating system does it. If somebody wants to know, okay, I have now an efficient method. Okay, just come and write a paper on it. This is how a standard operating system does copying and pasting from one to another program. This is the concept of a clipboard. Okay, this is very important. It's very important. Okay, so now if you think from this, I will now. Now if you look at a memory, so in a memory there are some logical address spaces. the logical address space. So this is assume logical address space. This we have a memory and we have some logical address space. Let's assume that this memory is 8-bit. What is W now? 8. Okay. Now 0x000 and 0xFFF. Okay. What is A now?
is equal to
12. FFF. So if A is 12, so let's make it 14. Let's make it 15. A is 15. What is the minimum address and what is the maximum address?
7.
15. How we can divide 15? 15 can be divided into 4, 4,
Okay, sir. Yes,
4
sir.
and
3.
3. What is the maximum of 4?
F.
F.
F. 7.
7. Okay. Now, so if A is 15. Okay. Now, if you have an address of 14, how we can divide it? 4, 4 and 2. F and 3. How many? 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So there will be 14 ones. 14. There will be 15 ones. 4, 4, 4, and 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 is actually equal to 2. Okay, now if we have the same memory size, we are not changing the memory size. So if we say this memory, so let's say this is next address is 00001. 0002, 0003, 0004, 0005, so far so on. And let's say it's 8-bit. So the data that's stored is 583692110036. And now let's assume 5216 3A 6B. Okay, 0x7FF. It will be E. FFB, FFC, FFB. So let's do this. If we increase the width of the bus, how will it look like? 16 bits. Okay, the address lines are reduced by 1. And now the memory size, assuming that the memory size is same. So actually what is the first address? 0000. Address will be 5836. What will be the next address?
0002.
2. What will be the
2 means 2.
9211. And from the bottom 0xF 7FFE1652 and 0x7FFC. Similar decrement up to 6B 3A. Similarly, if we increase the bus size 32 bits, if we increase the bus size 32 bits and we assume that the memory is byte addressable, so what is the first address? 58369211. What is the address?
000.
What is the next address? 4. Then 0008 and C and so forth so on. And what is the last address? FFFC. So actually the data will be 6B 3A 1652. So now this is the logical. Now we are not going into the physical memory. This is only the logical organization of the memory, which are physical address space. Now, if you remember in your previous lecture, so we sent some of the control signals. We have address lines. Now we have data lines, and now we have read, write, borrowed. Now, if the memory is byte addressable, and here we are here, what additional information do we need?
Offset.
What additional information we need? like if you want to access a particular byte. Now if you look at this address 0000, so actually this address is 0, this address is actually 1, this address is actually 2, this address is actually 3. But if I want to access 5A, but 5A, the word size is now 32 bits, it will access the whole data. But if you want to access the whole data, so actually it will be more power. You only want to access only individual byte. But I want to access 5A.
Word
But if
like
I give you an address 0x000, how can we do this?
So we need a 2-bit offset.
We need not 2-bit offset, but we need additional information whether you want to access byte or word. So we can need an additional function byte, word or long word. Let's assume the word size is 2 bits. So let's assume if it is 00, maybe it's byte. When it's 01, you want to access word, and maybe 10, you want to access long word. You got my point? So in addition to the address information, you need an additional information if you don't want to. So if we say that if the address is 0000, and this 2-bit field is 00, which data will be accessed?
Byte.
5A.
5.
If this address is 0000 and the address field is 01, which value will be accessed? 5A36. And it's the same as 0000 and then it is 10. 5A3692 and 11.
And what would be if we want to read only the access 1 को access करना चाह रहे हैं?
So 1 को access करना चाहते हैं, the address will be 0003.
0003.
This is the address.
So we are not reducing the address bus, number of bits of address bus.
No bits of it. Actually, it's important. Actually, it's important that whether it's also अब इसको थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल बहुत टेक्निकल है, ठीक है? टेक्निकल इस तरह से है कि what we want to do. Actually, if you remember the data type in C, let's say you are defining some characters. So character is actually 1 byte or 8 bit. So actually, you need then.
Complete byte.
You need an address of a byte. So for that it is important that we want to support all data types within the microprocessor. So it depends on the data type, because if you remember that if you say that now you are accessing character 0 and then you want to access character 1, so actually it will be an increment of 1. But if you want to characters, let's assume character C0 and character C1, there will be an increment of 1 and addressing increment of 1. But if you are having an integer of 0 and integer of 1, let's assume integer takes 4 bytes. So there will be an address increment of 1 or 4. So this is our modern microprocessor. Modern microprocessors are typically byte addressable, but you can also access word and you can also access long words. And it's important that if you want to access an individual byte, or if you want to access the whole word. Okay. Did we study status register, NCCV? NCCV, no? Okay. हो गया?
ओवरफ्लो इस सर वो पड़ेगा।
ओवरफ्लो कर लिया था?
Yes.
If you add two positive number, the result is negative.
Yeah, yes, we back.
ठीक हो गया, ठीक है.
Negative 0 value over.
And there are some like examples in the notes. Please do this if you have some questions, then you may ask me. Okay. Now.
सर ये नोट्स भी अवेलेबल होंगे
उसमें नहीं है सर।
फोल्डर में।
Drive. Okay. let's assume now we have an architecture. Let's assume mul
ये यूट्यूब के चैनल के लिए सर
R3, R4, R5. Mul R3, R4, R5. Okay, which addressing mode we are using here? In all cases, we are using register addressing. Actually, we have now changed only the option of the instruction. Okay, and output is actually multiply instruction. Now let's assume if we have this R3 and R4 and R5 are n bits. So if you multiply to n bit numbers, what is the outcome?
n+1
So if we multiply two n bit numbers, if we multiply two n bit numbers, what is the result?
2n
Huh?
2n
2n. The result is actually 2n. I will explain this with an example. Now let's assume that if we have a 4-bit number, and a 4-bit number, so we should consider for the worst case. So what is the maximum value of a 4-bit number?
15
15. What is the worst case for the 4-bit number?
15.
15. If you multiply 15 multiplied by 15,
225
225. Okay, how many bits are required to represent 255?
8 bits
8 bits. So actually, n, the result is 2. So if we multiply to n bit number, the result is 2n bit. But the problem with this, if you look at this instruction, what is the problem now?
The
8 bit तो 16 bit का है
size of registers are same,
The size of register are same, then
so the information stored could be of the same size.
result store नहीं हो सकता. So there can be two ways to avoid this problem. Maybe in one architecture. Now I am explaining one architecture. How does one architecture addresses this problem? One architecture addresses this problem that if we say that now it will be done that R3 will be equal to, this is the contents of the register R3. This is the contents of register R3. So actually it will be equal to R470. Let's assume this is 16 bits. 16 bits 70 multiplied by R5. So it will multiply the least significant 8 bits of R4, least significant 8 bits of R5 and store it into R3, and what is 16 bits. So generally speaking, if in one architecture if it is n bit, so actually it will be equal to R4 n minus 1 0 multiplied by R5. So now we are multiplying to n minus 1 bits. We are multiplying to n minus 1 bits. So actually if you click, so the result will be n bits. Okay. Now let's assume if we want to, now let's assume another scenario. If we want to multiply R3 and R4 and we want a 32-bit result. We want a 32-bit result. How can an architect deal with this problem?
मेमोरी लोकेशन में स्टोर कर
No, same. I want to solve the same problem. I want to use register addressing mode. Because if we multiply two n-bit register, the result will be 2n bits. How can I deal with this problem being as a computer architect?
Two registers में से
Yes, 2 register. So actually, maybe another architecture. So actually, this is version 1. This is version 1 of the architecture. This is one version of the architecture. Maybe version 2 of the architecture would do it like this. It can do it like this. Multiply R6, R7 and concatenate it. Let's assume this is concatenation. And R4 and R5. When you perform this multiplication, the most significant of the result is stored in R6 and the least significant into R7. The most significant data into, so it varies from architecture to architecture. So actually, if we compare different architectures, so how do we compare different architectures? This is architecture 1, this is architecture 2, and this is architecture 3. So maybe one architecture does not support multiply instruction at all.
Quite often.
Okay, this is for simple microprocessors. Now this comes another problem. Now let's assume if our architecture, now this is architecture 1, it supports this instruction, okay, or job is done. Now this is architecture 2. It addresses this problem that we have taken. Now let's assume we have an architecture and it does not support multiply instruction, and you want to implement a multiply operation. What you have to do being a programmer?
ऐड करके
You have to write a subroutine. You have to write a subroutine consisting of existing instructions available within that microprocessor. So what are these existing instructions? Add. Now if you think from this perspective, so now if we are multiplying, let's assume if you are multiplying, I'm giving a very simple example. If you are giving A2, A1, A0, for the sake of simplicity, I'm taking only a 3-bit signal. For the sake of simplicity, B2, B1 and B0. So actually what I need to calculate, A0, B0, A1, B0, A2, B0, then shift, then B1, A0, second element, shift, 1, 1, 1. And that's the reason, if you remember, now this is a 3-bit signal. We are multiplying 2 3-bit. The value is actually 6 bits. So actually this is 1 bit, 2nd bit, 3rd bit, 4 bit, 5 bit, and maybe from the carry this is 6 bits. You understood? So actually if your architecture does not support multiply instruction, so you can use this logical operations, or you need logical operations. And then, in this case, you need 1 shift. In this case, you need 2 shifts. And when you need 2 shifts, and then you are making shifting, and this logical operation, logical AND, this is a bitwise AND. You will perform a bitwise and you can write a subroutine for that. Now, if your architecture does not support multiply instruction, so you have to write a subroutine. So you have to write a subroutine. In this subroutine, actually, when you are calling a subroutine, so you need to pass some parameters. Like even if you are calling a function in C, C++, you pass some variables A, B, and C, and now you have some return value. So actually, maybe to this subroutine you are passing 2 variables. Maybe you have RS1, RS2, and RD1 and RD2. Why RD1 and RD2?
रिजल्ट जो है वो ज़्यादा आएगा.
Because the result is large. So RD1 is the most significant, and RD2 is the least significant. And this is RS1 and RS2, and then you have this subroutine, and within this subroutine you call successive addition and bitwise operations and additions and shift operation, and then you can implement this subroutine. So okay, so whenever being as a computer architect, when you want to solve a problem, and so you should choose a suitable underlying architecture. Let's assume that if you want to design some system for toothbrush or something like that, and you need a small embedded microcontroller. Okay, but if you want to interface LCD, or you want to interface keypad, so you have to choose a suitable system. Okay, even if you are buying a laptop, so there are a lot of parameters. You say, okay, what is the size of the memory? What is the size of the hard disk? Whether hard disk is SSD or something? What is the maximum transfer rate? So there is a lot of parameters that comes into play. So actually, being as a computer architecture, you should know the limitations of your architecture, and you should also know the features that are available in